is Henry Kinyua. I'm the chairperson of New Kenya Planters Cooperative Union, New KPCU. That is a state corporation. New KPCU's mandate is like dual mandate. Mandate number one is largely to conduct coffee business, that is milling, marketing, and warehousing of farmers' coffee. And then the other mandate also has a lot to do with administering the coffee cherry advance revolving fund. So that's the dual mandate of New KPCU. The chairman appointed by His Excellency the President, and the board appointed by the CA, the Honorable Cabinet Secretary, on the 18th, gazetted on the 18th of December 2019. This board was inaugurated on 7th January by Honorable CS Peter Munya, and the board started working. And we can see now there have been quite a number of issues putting the systems in place. As you are aware, the precursor for this, the KPCU, was placed under liquidation, and I think that process is still ongoing that is under the Commissioner of Cooperatives. And therefore, when we took office, the first thing that we did was largely to again continue the business of. So we milled, like the first season, we milled farmers' coffee. We milled and marketed about 400 tons of farmers' coffee from cooperatives, about 11 cooperatives and about 30 estates. And all this coffee, we were able to, we established a very good working relationship with these farmers, whereby once they deliver their coffee, the coffee it will not be milled until they are present. So by the time they are a very high level of transparency, and then we jointly market, because one thing we did as New KPCU is to unbundle these services, unbundle the services that we provide to the farmers, so that if you can choose to bring your coffee to New KPCU for it to be milled and you market elsewhere. You can also decide to mill elsewhere and bring to New KPCU to help you market. You can also mills elsewhere, but then you want maybe to warehouse, to help you warehousing because we are close. I think these are the services that we provide, but we are able to unbundle them. This is very important, because what you realize is there are some counties with their own mills, like we look at Machakos, the Lower Eastern, they have their own mill. Few other places have their own mill. So how can we work together with all these services? That's how the issue of unbundling the services came about. Additionally, you find that we have estates, individual farmers that have their own markets, or rather they can be able to look for their own market, but they like to just be. So you come meet with us, and then from there, once they identify the market, we facilitate that, because we have the license to do that. We support them with the logistics to ensure the project, their coffee reaches the destination that they have identified. So that way is to ensure that New KPCU continues to be, an honest and very competitive and efficient, transparent, farmer-centric and market-driven service provider in this coffee industry. We have a very supportive Cabinet Secretary, Peter Munya. He's very, very supportive. So that has made it easier to push things quickly, get whatever needs to be done. That's the one. Secondly, I think the farmers we have worked with have shown a high level of commitment to their business. We've shown high degree of transparency and accountability when it comes to working with them. I think these are some of the things I can say I've seen working for us, and we look forward to strengthen that in terms of, are we able to get the farmers the best price? Are we able to pay the farmers promptly? Are we able to ensure that all that we have done, it is done in a manner that is most transparency as possible? Do we ensure and find that all our activities, all our transactions are market-driven, that we are really looking at the market, but they are very 100% farmer-centric? That anything, New KPCU is here to serve Kenyan farmers. It's not here to serve anybody. It's just to serve the Kenyan farmers, get the best out of the market. So we are watching the market, but more so ensuring that we are farmer-centric. So I think that's really what I would say so far. I've brought my team and I brought into New KPCU, and that we are looking at ensuring that going forward, there is already the systems are in place to ensure that continues. absolutely. I think it all came together in terms of all what I've done before in my previous life, both from a technical side, that's the agronomy side, from the networks. I'm using the networks I've had, my expertise, my experiences, my networks, that definitely is coming to assist. Have come in to sort of assist whatever what I'm doing. If you look at being a CEC, particularly in a county like Nyeri that produces a lot of coffee, was very helpful. And because we had already developed a coffee strategic plan for the county, that quite a number of issues that new KPCU is doing or will like do, we had addressed. And I think now I'm also happy that there's an ongoing program of COVID revitalization that will go down to the counties, because it doesn't matter whatever happened at the top. If the farms are not being rejuvenated, if we are not having farm production increasing from the current average of 2 to about 5-10, then clearly we still have a problem. Yeah. The mills we have, I can say we have already, they've been properly serviced. So we were able to, we received from the liquidators the mills in Dadora, the mill in Sagana, and the mill in Meru. So this one, we first of all did the initial servicing to make sure that they are available for processing farmers' coffee, and that's going happening. Now we are looking at from maybe next week or the next month to begin now doing a proper, most of these are all removing, ensure that you do proper, the roof, you squeeze them up. There are many things that have not. So we already, I think there's already an ongoing program. I think in the next month or so the team will begin. So that one I can say the refurbishment will begin, and also establishing a very robust ICT system that will help automate the whole coffee business from the from the time the coffee parchment is delivered to the farmer's payment. So those are the very immediate activities that are going on. I think the challenges are quite many, actually. It's quite interesting, and one is the fact that new KPCU and there were quite a number of challenges with the KPCU that now are the liquidation. There are farmers who had not been, because their coffee had been sold, they have not been paid, and those farmers still believe that we have to sort to assist them. And I think that when we were working with the CS, the first batch, the Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya worked again with the Commission of Cooperative. There was there was a coffee that was sold by farmers in 0809, believe you me, that had not been paid. And first of all, the liquidator had looked at, they had placed the notice on people to bring their documents, and the document that had gone through had been audited. The first batch was paid about, I think, 60 million. That was paid to those farmers. So now there are many other grievances that are there that still farmers look that we need. So that was the other thing. Was quite a number of their facilities were quite dilapidated. We need to do a lot of try to put them, rehabilitate them, bring them up to speed so that we can do a good business. Secondly, we realize right now, thirdly is right now, for you to be successful in coffee business, you have to be certified. You don't get into certification. KPCU didn't have, so we have to start already the process of ensuring that we are certified as what we call chain of custody certification, so that farmers that have already acquired certification can be able to mill through us without necessarily losing their status. So those are some of the, and I think the other thing also, again, the fact that we were inaugurated on 1st of January when we were kind of almost outside the government budget cycle. So we had the whole process that we could not even, do many things. We were not in the government budget, and therefore we started. So it's only now we are in the government from the 1st of July. So there was a bit of that delay in terms of once we, establishing the system. To establish the system is a bit of time. So there were quite a number of areas that, like even the staff we have, most of the staff are, seconded to us, or the State Department of Cooperatives. So we were working, but right now from 1st of July, we can be able now to begin hiring people and doing many things now as a body, as an organization. So I think that some what are largely I'll call teething problems that we faced. The other issue is also within the industry, a new entrant is also viewed with a lot of suspicion. So some of these existing millers farmers, existing marketers. And there was a lot of, and it's still ongoing, a lot of massive campaign against ourselves from different people, a lot of misinformation saying that New KPCU is coming to monopolize the coffee sector, they are coming to do this, and so there's been a lot of that, and that's expected, that's normal. We are new entrants, and somebody feels that we are coming to spoil the soup, so it's expected. But as time goes by, quite a number of people are coming to understand that this is Kenya being a free market. This is an entry where anybody, as long as you meet the requirement, you can bid and then let the farmers make the choice. Let the farmers decide who is our best service provider, who is the most efficient, who is the most transparent, who actually is able to assist us get better, who is treating us with more respect, who is, and among us that, where are we able to get better returns for our produce? So, and I think that decision is being made. So, as New KPCU, we don't feel the pressure. It was actually quite. I don't want to call it surprise, but suddenly, expect that some of these main organizations could really spend so much time with misinformation, and they still continue than needed, using that to see how can we jointly, and that's what I tell is how can we jointly work together? Because if you look at the last 5-10 years, the production in Uganda has shot up 5 times. In Ethiopia has gone like maybe double, while the production in Kenya has gone down. So clearly, our competitor is definitely, our competitor is the person who is eating our pie in the global market. And it's not among ourselves. So it is when you feel like all this misinformation, all these unnecessary ad-hoc dealings to try and cripple. Because we had challenges, court cases, and all which we have been able to sort out, or we are working towards. So some of these things, were some of the challenges expected. But I think with the time now, everybody is able to see that the world is, the space is big. There's enough space for everyone. But I think going forward, what I hope is that there'll be more. We'll look at more collaboration among all the players to identify, to actually fill the gap. It's like our production is going down at a very high rate. Our farmers are feeling not well remunerated. And everywhere. So how can we work together jointly? We can be, as long as you're licensed, you can play your role. But what are those things that we can do jointly to ensure that we support farmers, we support backward production, ensure that there's more efficient extension services being delivered to farmers, and also there's a better way of marketing ourselves as a country rather than necessarily individuals. So I think there's still quite a bit to do, and but right now I am pretty certain we have our space. Well, New KPCU being a state corporation is definitely, it will be here for a long time. So even anybody out there wishing it away would be very mistaken. Secondly, what the president wanted is, first of all, New KPCU to come and, take the assets once the liquidators are through, or take the assets, optimize them and protect them, make sure that all the titles and everything is well protected and optimized. But then later, the government's intention. I have heard the minister say that many times when speaking to the farmers. The intention is also later now to take this organization back to the farmers, because it was owned by farmers. And one of the part that the liquidators were doing was also to carry out a forensic audit of the shareholders. So who are the bona fide shareholders of the old KPCU? So I think that one will happen. So I see New KPCU in another maybe 2-3 years to come. It will be now a joint owned by government and farmers coming. So that is that's what I say. That's one. The second thing I also see New KPCU really supporting so many farmers, the small estates and others, to really get market direct. It is we've not been able to market most of our coffee directly. I know there have been challenges with the coffee exchange, and right now I think that is being addressed. But the idea is to give farmers a choice. Farmers is like, you need to have a choice. If you are able to get and access the market directly, why not? And therefore, as New KPCU is an organization that will be there to provide that service to them as a farmer's partner. So making it as easy as possible as to make sure that each farmer can be able to export their coffee direct. The other thing as New KPCU, we are also eventually looking at how do we establish a very efficient extension service in partnership. We are not looking at new KPCU building an extension department, but we're looking at how can we come up, utilizing the latest technology, ICT and fuel. How can we partner and to have using the ICT, bringing on board the youth to create a very more private sector, youth-driven, very efficient IT, an IT-led extension services. So that's something we are really thinking about, and we are going to take a lead on that. And I think in the next couple of short, maybe like a couple of months, we'll see what we really want to do. How do we want to ensure that extension is delivered to smallholder farmers? Because coffee is a very technical crop. Without proper advisory, we'll continue, the farmers will continue using the inputs and still not getting the yields. Because for coffee, like any other agricultural crop, it is not just about using the input. It's not just about using fertilizer. It is answering the 4 questions. Are you using the right fertilizer? Are you using it at the right time? Are you using it in the right quantities? Are you using it in the right manner? For you to get these 4 rights, there has to be a proper and well-organized extension service that professionals are able to reach farmers and provide them with this support on how to utilize most of the inputs, and also carrying out other agricultural practices that will ensure that farmers increase their yield, but also the quality of the coffee they produce.